All right, everyone, we got a speaker here. We got you guys here. So, yeah, I guess we're good to go now. Yeah. So, once again, hello, what's up, Polkadot community? And I'm Anna from Polkadot Insider. And today I'm just so happy to get back today with the AMA series with Apillon, the Web3 development platform for developers and businesses building on Web3. And by gathering unified API endpoints, it delivers the functionalities of Polkadot parachains adapted to the standard development process and user-preferred technology stack. I'll learn a lot more about Apillon for you guys today. So if you want to find out more, stay to the end. Yeah. So first, in case you first know about us, Polkadot Insider, so we are a channel updating news, data analytics, real-time data, and project research to support retail investors' views when they invest in the Polkadot ecosystem. Yeah, and going through with me and in this AMA today is Mr. Nino, one of the core team member from Apillon, who's gonna share with us what is so amazing about Apillon, some recent spotlights, and also what are some upcoming steps that we are supposed to catch up with. Yeah. So no more introduction. Let's get right into it, everyone. Yeah. So to kick off the atmosphere, sir, can you introduce a little bit about yourself and also a quick overview of what Apillon is about?
Thank you very much for the introduction, and thank you for hosting this AMA. My name is Nino, and I am a CPO at Apillon, which makes me mostly responsible for product. So I'm, building and helping build Apillon and deciding which integrations are we gonna do next. And from my history perspective, I've been in crypto since 2016. Also founded one of the earliest ICOs, which wasn't successful. And then later, I was for 3 years and some months at Economy, which is quite popular in Europe. And then I decided to enter Web3. So the best way to do that was, of course, Apillon, because it touches everything Polkadot does. So this is my history and what I'm doing and my little bit of my background. The second part of Apillon, what Apillon is, we heard something in the intro, but with few words, I would just say anyone who is right now building something in Web 2 and is already thinking about how can I, build something in Web 3, how can I start with Web 3, but I don't know where and what to do. If you come to Apillon, you will be able to do a lot simply by clicking, and then even more or almost everything by using our APIs in a way where you are developing the same way as you would in Web 2. So basically, if you know JavaScript, TypeScript, any other language popular in Web 2, you can connect to our APIs and without understanding parachains on Polkadot and get really good results with that. So I would go a little bit more into details later, but this is essentially the intro to what Appium does.
Wow, such a good news for the builders. Yeah. Thank you, sir. I think it's a very great kickoff. And we are down to hear more. Yeah. So for next question, we want to know what is the core mechanism of Apillon and how the platform works, basically.
So if you want to understand Appium more, you first have to quite understand Polkadot and then parachains. So before going into Appium, I would just like to point out, with Polkadot, we all know that Polkadot is like, a series of different chains that run in parallel, which means, if you want to build a specific solution on Polkadot, you usually use substrate and you build a parachain on top of that substrate. And if we look at the field of parachains, which are currently on Polkadot, we notice that they're very specialized. We have a parachain like Moonbeam, which is specialized into EVM smart contracts. Then we have a parachain called Crust, which is very focused on storage. Like, how can you store your private photos or your music or something instead of Web2 cloud, you can store them in a decentralized way in Web2. This is what Crust provides. Then we can go to parachain called Kilt, which is dealing all about your identity. So the way you sign in, sign up for an application where your data stays yours, and there is a lot of privacy. And we have a parachain called Kilt, which does only this, right? So there are like 50 different parachains. Each of them does their own thing, and they're very good at what they do. But what the problem is, if you're a developer, let's say you're a one-man band, or you're just a front-end developer, or you have a really small team, if you would like to build a complete Web3 product or a dApp, you would have to go to all those parachains, figure out their SDKs, buy their tokens, hold their tokens, and learn all that stuff, right? So this is the problem Apillon is solving. So what we do is we go to, let's say, Moonbeam, we figure out how Moonbeam works, we figure out their SDK, we have their tokens, and we allow you to simply deploy smart contract like ERC-721, which is the most popular contract for NFTs, and you do that simply by clicking. And we do everything in the background. So we do the heavy lifting. And then as a developer, you say, okay, I'm developing some sort of mobile application. I would like it to be Web3. I would like my users to be able to sign up. What Apillon does in this case, we go to Kilt, which I mentioned before, and we do all the heavy lifting. We configure Kilt in the background. We give you very simple API, and users can now sign up to your application and obviously sign in using the Kilt in the background. So you don't have to understand Kilt at all. You don't have to understand Crust into details. You just simply use our APIs, and we make sure whatever you are building is fully decentralized and fully compliant with Web3 standards. And the story goes on, right? So beyond those two parachains, we also support Astar. We now support Remark as well. It's about to come to production. We are also extending our integrations to Fala, which is another parachain and also provides compute, so trusted execution environment and computing, and so on. So we are, a layer just before the application layer. We're utilizing everything people are building in Polkadot, and we give you a simple way to just come and say, okay, I want to build something in Web3, bam, and you utilize basically all the parachains in the background by building an app.
Well, that's really deep but interesting at the same time to get to know more about the solutions that Apillon offering and developing, and also the story behind it. Yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah. So you just mentioned convenience for the builders and stuff. So we know that Apillon have a lot of tools for builders, and are these tools easy to learn? And if they struggle, how can they get in touch with your team to ask for solutions?
So when or how would I phrase this? So when we do the heavy lifting, which I mentioned before on the parachains, we have to figure out how does this specific parachain work, and if they have a new concept introduced into web, like for example DIDs, decentralized identifiers, which are done by Kilt, we need to figure out how to abstract this complexity, right? So if something is hard and we want to make it easier for you as a developer, we can either succeed or we can fail, because in this translation from complex to simple, some sort of abstraction has to happen. And we are highly focused on trying to deliver as simple and convenient ways, and especially focusing on our UI or UX, and especially our documentation, on giving you the whole suite of tools which will allow you to achieve a lot with little effort, right? So for example, so we can be more tangible, if today you go to Apillon and you make a free account, you can click to storage, you can open a new storage bucket and simply drag and drop files. As soon as you drag and drop those files, we're going to push them to Crust, which then pushes them to different IPFS nodes. So it distributes this file across the world to IPFS nodes where those files cannot be removed. And this is quite complex, what you achieve, but you achieve this simply by dragging and dropping the files into our UI. So this is the abstraction I'm talking about, and this is the convenience. So I'm surely hoping we were successful in making it easy and simple, but time will definitely tell where we have to work on our UX and UI more. Yeah, same goes for every other tool which is available. So we have several services which are derived from different parachains on Polkadot, and we're looking to add several more in the future. So we will be expanding across whole Polkadot if possible. So yeah, I would say definitely easy and convenient and a nice place to start a beginner.
Well, that's really great work. Yeah, we really appreciate all the efforts that Apillon have been making to make the journey for builders as easy and convenient as possible, and that's really fantastic. Yeah. So, with your project's concept, what kinds of users are you guys targeting right now, and do you have any plans to expand this target?
Um, yeah, definitely. So for us, it's from the very beginning, we were aware and we still are of the fact that there is approximately 60 million JavaScript developers in the world right now. And from this fact alone, we can say this is the amount of people, working in Web 2. Most of them are working in Web 2 because we know Web 3 has less than 100,000 developers actively working in Web 3. So our first and main target is, to bring those or a large portion of those 60 million developers onto Apillon and mimic the experience they were having in Web 2, similar to tools that they're using. And we're trying also to mimic the UI so that even the UI looks very similar to what they're experiencing in AVS or maybe Firebase or any other cloud provider. And beyond that, beyond those developers that we're trying to migrate and give them opportunity to easily switch between Web 2 and Web 3, we are also offering few solutions that almost anyone can use, right? So again, if we're talking about our current state in production, anyone today can go onto Apillon and build their own NFT collection simply by clicking. So you can literally avoid or go into no code solution, open up the NFT wizard, upload your photos, upload your CSV file or a spreadsheet, and simply by clicking this collection and smart contract will be deployed and all those NFTs available for minting. So I would say initially, of course, we were targeting Web 2 developers who are looking to migrate and expand on Web 3 developers. But our secondary market is also focused highly on people who just want to achieve something simply by clicking without a lot of configuration. And I would say the third way of developing that we're looking at, and this is not a typical audience, but we are thinking about how AI will change the field of development in the next year or next 2 years, and how do we place our product into this new future, right? Because we know that a lot of people who are not developers, with the help of AI, will be able to dictate on how to achieve something on the web or within dApps, etc. So we are also thinking about expanding towards AI and this specific sport.
Oh, that's really impressive. Yeah. The core target, yeah, makes sense as developer, the Web 2 developer to Web 3. Yeah, we can see a huge number of them, so potential, and yeah, that's really makes sense. Yeah. So for our next question, we talked about the benefits. So can you share with us some of the core benefits of building Web3 with you guys at Apillon?
Definitely, yes. So going back to the initial story about Polkadot and all those parachains, right? So again, we have a parachain for storage, we have a parachain for smart contract, etc. And we can all agree that one developer could actually by himself configure all those parachains and build a solution without Apillon in parallel. Now, the first question is, how much time would this take, right? It would take a lot of time because we went through those configurations. We know those parachains are quite early. There are a lot of bugs. You have to be in contact with the team. You have to be able to, contact the team that is managing the parachain and make them fix stuff or wait for the stuff to be fixed. And we went through all this. So I don't know if it's realistic for one developer to configure several parachains. Probably it is in theory, but it would definitely take a lot of time. So one of the core benefits we have is saving a lot of time with a guarantee that whatever you are building is compatible with Web3 standards. So this is a huge thing. Until you try how it is to work with a parachain or how it is to work in Web3, it's hard to understand, but it can get quite complex. The secondary huge benefit is mostly how we handle the underlying payments. So there is a characteristic of every single parachain, right? Because let's say a parachain Crust, who provides storage, in order for a developer to use this storage, developer has to buy Crust tokens and have them in their wallet. And each time a user or someone sends some files, some of those Crust tokens get spent, right? And now the same developer, if they utilize Kilt or Moonbeam or Astar or several other parachains, they have to buy all of their underlying assets, which means, it becomes quite problematic because once you develop the app and you push it out into the production, you have to have a wallet with all those assets inside, and you have to monitor this wallet so that none of the assets gets depleted. And this means, there's a huge maintenance role also attached to the developer, and it gets even more complex from that. So if we say, for example, you have Crust tokens and someone sends a lot of files to Crust, and your wallet as a developer gets depleted of Crust tokens, well, what you have to do is now go to exchange, again, buy Crust tokens and send them to the wallet. But the problem is those Crust tokens don't cost the same price as they did before because all of those assets are volatile, which means you as a developer have no chance of scaling with cost prediction. So you cannot predict the cost. Let's say you have 100 users and you have a specific cost, and then you say, okay, how much will my service cost when I have 100,000 users? It's impossible to calculate because it will happen in the future, and we don't know how much the token will cost in the future. So I would say the second largest benefit is that we are the ones, so Apillon is the one who takes care of all the underlying payments, and we simply charge you in fiat. So you can come to Apillon, you can pay, of course you can use free plan, there's also free plan, but in the case you want to scale, you can pay $9.99 a month, and we will turn this into all underlying assets, and you will not have to have custody, wallet, or anything else. And as a third benefit, I would say for anyone looking to start to play around, we have a free business model, free plan, which is already out, and you can come and utilize it immediately.
Well, that's really amazing. Yeah, we can see a lot of problem arises, but Apillon never stops trying to bring the most benefits and conveniences and solutions for the users. And yeah, that's really fantastic. Yeah. So yeah, so about expansion, yeah, that's a very attractive topic to listeners. Yeah, so do you guys have any plan for Apillon to expand to other blockchains? And if yes, which is the ideal blockchain you are aiming for?
Right now, Apillon is highly focused within Polkadot ecosystem. We are not only that we are, on all the conferences of Polkadot and really deeply integrated into Polkadot community. Everyone knows who we are. We are also participating in the treasury proposals and DAOs across the Polkadot. So we still have a lot of work left within the Polkadot ecosystem, but we are definitely aware that a lot of things are happening also outside of Polkadot, and we are monitoring those solutions as well. There are a few competitors to Apillon who are doing something similar to Apillon outside of Polkadot ecosystem, and we are monitoring that as well. But definitely in the future, I would say we are the platform who can expand and provide services outside of Polkadot, which aren't maybe available within Polkadot, right? So just to draw the picture, if we have storage with Trust within Polkadot and it works great, by the way, there's no need for us to go and integrate, some other storage from Ethereum or from, Polygon or any other ecosystem. But if there will be lack of a specific service, which would be really great for developers, maybe we will be able to look outside and deliver that as well. Because, we first have to cater our clients, the developers, and then we have to also cater the ecosystem of Polkadot.
Yeah, we can see that you guys doing amazing job with Polkadot. Yeah, but in the future, who knows? Maybe we can expect from good news from Apillon about this one, right? Yeah, that's really amazing. Yeah,
Definitely,
yeah.
yes.
Talking about the achievements a little bit. So, to your perspective, to your experience, can you share with us some of the best achievements of your team in terms of products so far, and which is the most memorable one to you?
I would say definitely. So for anyone who doesn't know how Apillon started and when it started, I can say the first lines of code for this solution were written in September 2022. And in December that same year, so 3 months later, we already had first storage service and the dashboard done. And then we continued towards March to expand our services with Moonbeam and smart contracts, etc. So I would definitely say the proudest thing of our team is speed of delivery and the quality of delivery that we have. But the best thing we have right now from the product perspective is ability to build your own NFT collection, which works across three parachains. And the user, when they're clicking through the wizard, they are not aware that we are talking to three different parachains in the background and that we are also settling the assets or the costs in the background. So I would say this is the definitely the best achievement because anyone in the world who is able to use the computer can now do this without coding knowledge, and the solution will live on several parachains once it's done. So just to go a little bit into details, if you are building NFT collection, what you need is first NFT metadata, so the data that describes and gives your NFT's title, description, and other characteristics, and of course images. So once you go through this flow, we put all this to decentralized storage. Then you can use either Moonbeam, Astar, or Remark. You just select on the dropdown on which parachain you want your smart contract to be deployed. And you can configure it just simply by entering the data into the form. And once all this is completed, you get a finished template for the website, for the collection website, which you can also host with Apillon. So your website with the collection gets hosted free of charge on a Web3 decentralized manner. So I would say these are the three services that are included in this flow. And like I said, it's very easy to achieve it. Besides talking about product and what we've built, I would also say there is a lot of pride in one of the projects that were built on Apillon, and it was done by one of our ambassadors. It's called Meerkats. It's an NFT collection, which was completely deployed and hosted on Apillon and completely sold out. And I think now this ambassador is expanding on this with a new collection of 500 new NFTs. So definitely something we're very proud of, where the product goes into production and achieves something. So yeah, I would say these are the collections of things that we are proud of as a team.
Yeah, that's really fantastic. Yeah, it's always easier said than done. We know that a lot of hard work gotta be done to help Avalon go this far. And yeah, once again, congratulations for all of you guys' achievements so far. Yeah, that's really amazing. Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you.
So we talked about the next steps. Yeah, so uh, to the rest of 2023 or even further, do you guys have any plans to, in terms of products, in terms of community, for Apillon to grow more? Yeah.
Definitely, yes. So, as I was saying before, Polkadot is filled with different parachains, which act as a really specialized services. So we do have a roadmap of new parachains that we want to integrate further and give more and more and more services to our developers, so they can then, pick and choose on where they want to build, whether it's, Moonbeam versus Astar. We don't want to be, guys who say this is better, or this is better. But if you are a developer who prefers Astar, you are able to deploy smart contract there. If you're a developer who prefers Moonbeam, you can deploy there. So that's why we need to expand horizontally with more and more services. And after this expansion is done, we're going to go vertically into depth, right? So talking really concretely on this, if right now the only smart contract we're supporting on Moonbeam and Astar is ERC 721. So for those of you who are unfamiliar, this is a typical smart contract for minting NFTs. We're gonna expand this offering, right? So we're gonna give more smart contracts to our platform and build flows behind those smart contracts where almost anyone can deploy them if they understand what they're trying to achieve, right? So this is definitely one of the things. Um, then we are also providing or trying to build a price stability module. So because we are taking care of all the underlying modules, underlying payments, we need to make sure those prices become stable. So this is a huge thing that we need to build, because otherwise no one can build on parachains or Polkadot with ability to scale or to predict the pricing on the scaling. And I think this will be very beneficial for the whole ecosystem. Um, Beyond that, definitely more one-click solutions. So right now, how Apillon acts is from one parachain, let's say again, crossed with the storage, we derive storage service, which is very, very plastic. You can come to this storage and put something up and use the API to list those files, or delete those files, or put more files up there. But in parallel, what we're building also are solutions which almost anyone can use. They can simply come and say, deploy me NFT collection, right? You just do one click, give it a title, few images, and it's done. And we call this one-click solutions. So we want to expand on giving out more and more one-click solutions, which are not necessarily technically very complex. Almost anyone can use them and achieve results really fast. But if you're a developer, every single one of those one-click solutions will also have an API, also giving you ability to basically build whatever you wish. So yeah, I would say this is kind of summary of how we're thinking. I would not how to say list all the parachains that we are looking at, or in some specific order, but yeah, just to describe it in a way. Right now, if you're a developer and you want to build something in DeFi, right? So let's say you want to use Apillon to build a wallet where users can swap coins, or send those coins, or generate wallets. We do not have support for this yet, right? So what we have to do is say, okay, now we're going to upgrade Apillon with the support for DeFi, and we're going to look for the parachains within Polkadot that do DeFi, right? They are already there. They know how to swap. They know how to, provide liquidity pools. They know how to do DeFi. And what we're gonna do is again do the heavy lifting on the parachain side and abstract those services into something very simple any developer can use. So all of a sudden, if you're a Web2 developer and you have a great idea on how to build, some sort of a wallet where users will trade or do something, you can come to Apillon, get an API, and just start building, right? Definitely, this is the way how we're going to approach expanding on our services. And I would also say one of the directions we need to expand and give more besides our SDK, CLI, and APIs is the support for mobile development. There are not so many services that enable really easy mobile app development. So we need to look into that and start expanding that.
Well, that's really amazing and exciting already. Yeah, you don't have to tell us all. Yeah, just keep it there because we love surprises. Yeah, a lot of good news for us to expect. Yeah, just best of luck in your next journey, and we'll definitely follow up. Yeah. So for the next question,
Sure.
I think it's kind of relaxing compared to others. So if you have to say just 3 words, it can be noun, it can be adjectives, or even sentences if it's easier for you to express what you're proud of Apillon. So what would they be, sir?
I would say the best thing we bring to the ecosystem of Polkadot and that we should be proud of as a team is the ability to see what Polkadot has that no one else saw before, right? Everyone is so focused on layer 0, layer 1, basically on the parachain protocol level, that no one really right now is thinking on how we're gonna, boost Web3 adoption. Well, we're not gonna boost Web3 adoption only by focusing on the protocol level. Someone also has to focus on the tooling, on the abstraction, and how to have mass of developers working with simple tools without going in depth, on how the parachains works, because this is how we're going to statistically increase the chance of having a really commercially successful dApp built on Polkadot. And I would say this is the proudest thing for Apillon because it's included in our vision, in our company mission, and it puts us in a unique position where we look at all the parachains, we know what those parachains are doing, and we are giving them life. We're giving them real utility with massive developers and thinking about the end user who is trying to enter Web3 and is tackling with different wallets, with the complexity, with irreversibility of blockchain, and with all those problems. No one is really solving this right now, and we are solving exactly that. So I would say, definitely Apillon mission and vision alignment with the current pain point that Polkadot ecosystem has. This is, I would say, something we should and we are proud of.
Wow, that's really lovely. Yeah, we can see how unique and how hardworking Apillon is to bring the best journey to the users. Yeah, and that's really kind of something that we proud of Apillon as well. Yeah, that's really powerful. Yeah, I can feel it in your work, and that's really amazing. Yeah. So I think it's all about the questions today. We have been through a lot of good information about Apillon. What are you guys doing? And so what are some things that we have to follow up? Yeah, so that's really amazing. So before we kind of say goodbye, so sir, do you have any words left or announcements left for listeners today before we say goodbye?
I definitely an announcement would be there are new releases coming. So if anyone here is thinking, uh, I want to do something in Web3, but I don't know how to start, where to start. One of the very easiest way to do that is you can, open an account on Apillon. You can use AI like Midjourney to generate bunch of really cool images for your own NFT collection. You can deploy those images really quickly, really easily. There's a demo which I did on YouTube that you can check out how easy it is, and deploy your own NFT collection. And it's doable in few hours, cost free, because we also covered the costs of smart contract deployment and minting. So you can do that. And and then of course follow the new integrations that we're gonna announce. Some of them are gonna be really nice. So this is the last few words. Maybe also if someone has a question and it's ready to speak up, you can also contact me directly on Twitter or join our Discord. Typical channels, we all have those. But I would really love to go into debate, or help you out if you are struggling on how to start with Web3.
Yeah, thank you, sir. That's really amazing. So everyone, if you're still struggling about how to start your Web3 journey, please trust me, go to Apillon and follow Apillon for some help. Yeah. So, and besides, follow up with all the social media of Apillon, so we're not gonna miss any latest releases, and yeah, you're not gonna regret it. It's gonna be amazing. Yeah. So once again, thank you, Mr. Nino, and also Apillon a lot for giving us a chance to have you guys today on the space, and that's our, those are really great sharings, and yeah, everyone loved it, I bet, and also everyone who have joined us today till this time, we really appreciate that. And once again, thank you, everyone. I think it's time for us to say goodbye. So goodbye, everyone, and have a nice day.
Thank you very much. You were a lovely host, and thank you everyone for joining and giving it a listen.
Yeah,
Cheers.
thank you so a lot. It made my day. Yeah, thank you, everyone. See you very soon.